Hi guys, welcome to the Military Misfit channel. My name's Kelvin. I want to do a video today on the Kommandostore Niemöller belt kit. Previously I did a video on backpacker Niemöller rig used by Executive Outcomes. So if you're interested in the history and design of these, check that video out because I go more into it in that one. I'm not going to rehash this for this video. However, there is a lot of new information on my blog, so if you are interested in the history of these things, check out the blog post. I go into things in a bit more detail there. Kommandostore have done a pretty cool video with Johann on the history and evolution of these, so that's well worth checking out as well. This is a pretty cool piece of kit, but the big question is, of course, is it still relevant on today's battlefield? So watch the end of the video and I'll give you my thoughts on that. So starting with the back pouch first. On the original, this was a medical pouch. When Johann originally designed it, he had a full med kit and a 1 litre drip in there. Nowadays, I'm just using this as a utility pocket. I've basically set this up as a hunting rig. I'm not going to be retaking Fallujah, so I don't need to go all in on that. Not going too crazy. Just a basic kit. In here I've just got some warm kit. I've got a nice wrap, a Helicantex Windrunner windproof. These are pretty cool. Arc'teryx Atom Light jacket, and these are just insane, really good value. So that's the basic pocket. So I got the small rig, and I did that for two reasons. I wanted to make sure that these pouches didn't come full to my hips, so that I'll have plenty of freedom of movement in this kit. And the second reason, and you'll probably laugh, but I wanted to make sure there'd be no dead space here at the back. However, looking at the other rigs, the larger ones have much larger pockets there. So I guess the trick's on me, because yeah, there is these empty panels on the sides. It's not too big a deal. I plan on putting some Pels webbing or something like that on there, and I'll run a dump pouch on this side, and then I'll run a knife on that side. The rig does come with a knife section here on the shoulder strap, but I won't be using that, and I'll go into why in a minute when we get to that section. So the rig's well made. Here you can see that you have bar tacks in a number of sections, and then also on the bottom. Another nice upgrade over this rig from the originals is that the pouches have eyelets in there, so it help drain water out. So that's quite cool. Next up, we have the harness at the back. So all the adjustment on these is done at the back. So these work by metal buckles and tri-glides. So over here is the metal buckle. So it's good that you can adjust it while wearing it pretty easy, but these will just slip through without the tri-glide holding that there. So it's just something to be aware of. On the older rigs, these sections, the buckles are at the top, but this should be a lot easier to adjust while you're wearing it. Next up, we have the water bottle and pockets with extra pouches on them. It's just kind of like the meat and potatoes of it all, really. So looking over here on the outside, on the front, we have ammunition pouches. And these two, I just have some 3D printed AK mags. This rig was originally designed for AK and R4 mags, so those work really well. A nice upgrade is that they've put wire around the top of the mag pouches, and also here. They've stuck with the original first type fix clips, or fix lock clips. So to get into those, you're just going to pinch that and push it up, and they just pop out, which is quite cool. The pouches have been reinforced with a second section of material here. Basically, they've just folded it over, and if you reach in, you can feel that. On this side, I have an AR mag in the first pocket. It just comes in a bit short. Don't know how well you can see that, but it comes to there. So if you are going to run AR mags, you probably want to put a little bit of a spacer in the bottom, or maybe run them with mag pulls or Ranger plates or something. But those fit in there quite nice. It's just a 10 round mag in the 30 round case. And then next up I have Magpul AICS pattern mag in 308. These work quite well. You might have to stretch them out a little bit, but they work good on my rig. Basically the rim, the base plate catches at the top of the pouch and just stops it from falling all the way in. So that's quite cool. Also in this one I've got a survival kit, or a survival tin. So it's just making a bit of use of the available space, just to increase the carry capacity of this. So over here I have a MDT mag, and these fit in quite nice as well. And the base plate there just catches on the top of the magazine pouch and stops it falling in too far. I think reading online on the reviews, one customer was talking about being able to put standard 308 mags in here, but I don't think I could do that on mine. They are quite snug, and I don't think a double stack mag would really fit too well. I think there's better rigs out there for 308s, to be honest. Although you might get lucky, as that other guy did, and it might work for you. If you're planning on using the rig with AR-15 mags, you might want to consider using the Kydex inserts. There's two ways to use these. The first is to put a bit of foam or a block in the bottom of the pouch just to control the height so it doesn't slide down too far. And then the other way would be just to get some adhesive loop material, stick that into the pouch, and then that will just sit in there quite nice. So that works quite well. It stops the mag from falling down too low. You can still use the pouch lid if you wanted, or if you're doing more sort of CQB or quick speed read loads, that Kydex will work quite well. It's just another option to help make the rig a bit more versatile. On the back here, there's nothing, so that's nice and empty. And then on the front, we have grenade pouches, or smoke grenade pouches. These work really well as utility pockets. And in this one here, I have a white monster. And then over here on this one, I have Israeli 6-inch dressing and a tourniquet. So you can carry a little bit of mica in there. You could put one on each side, and that would work really well. One of each on each side. You can also put Israeli dressings in the ammo pouches. Although I'd probably put some tape on there, or just so that you can pull it out nice and easy. And they'll also take the tourniquet as well. So other items that will fit in the grenade pockets are a 400mm Nalgene, or 14 ounce. And this is where my rig's kind of funny. These will fit on one side but not on the other. So on that side there, it's just a bit too small. And then on this side, it will fit in. That is kind of the downside with these fixed lock clips. There's no adjustability in them. So you kind of got to run what you brung, so to speak. As you can see, that one there shuts. Another item that you can carry in there. It's a good old Jack flask. Now, get yourself a Jack brew going. And again, it'll work on this one, but not on the other side. It's too, pouch is too small. So that's something on the quality control of these. I'm not saying that the quality control is bad, but you might find some variations from rig to rig, and even within the pouches on your own rig. Just something to be aware of. Next up, the pouches on the top. So originally, when Johann designed these rigs, these were for what bandages, what you call bomb bandages, and just like immediate action first aid kit. And this one over here, I have some paracord, I have a survival blanket, and some Air Pro. And then on this side, I have a chapstick, more cordage, a little red LED light, some spare batteries, and a signal mirror. They're not too big. They're a bit smaller on this version than they are on my other rig, but they can still carry like a decent amount of kit. Just got to pack smart as well. Right, so next up on the front of the rig, on this side, we have a small pouch. This is for a compass. In here I have a Garmin eTrex GPS, and it's quite a decent fit. You're not really going to fit anything too much bigger than that in there. Over here we have a compass, and that fits in quite nicely as well. Underneath this pouch we have a smaller pouch, and this is for a lighter. And here I have a Zippo. It's a bit snug on my one, it just needs to be stretched out a little bit. But that easily take a Bic or similar. And here I have a Zippo, but that works quite well also. On the opposite side, there's a small pouch here, and it was for Johann's penknife. And here I have a Victorinox multi-tool. We'll also take the mid-size Swiss Army knives. I won't take the larger ones with the locking blades. Over here we have a Leatherman super tool, and it's too big. It fits in nice, but the pouch lid will not close. And again, that's just a little side effect of the fixed lock buckles. There's no adjustment, unfortunately. Over here I have a folding knife, and that's way too big to fit in there. And then lastly, you've just got a little Spyderco, and that fits in quite nice. So here we have a section. This will be for your knife or a handset. For me personally, it's not too useful. It's kind of sized for a K-bar style knife. I did have a K-bar John Eck knife in there. I tend to use smaller knives like the Benchmade and Marvis, and it's it doesn't really work so well. I guess maybe you could tie it on with some paracord or something. But as you can see, I've decided to put a pouch there. This section here is kind of interesting. I saw someone on the Kommandostore review page, and what they've done is they've slipped a tourniquet in there. So that's one way just to carry a quick access tourniquet. You could hook a PTT through there if you wanted, if you're carrying a radio somewhere else. Another way to use the knife section is with the Helicon Tex Navatel pouch, or any similar type pouch. What's unique about this one is it attaches on the back, and then has a section of pals webbing to attach down the front. So what we can do is just run that through the knife sheath section, loop it at the bottom, and then that will stop it from slipping down, and then just fasten it at the back with the Velcro tabs. So if you're not carrying a knife, that might be an option. It's one way to upgrade the carry capacity of the rig. It's not a bad pouch. It's got a section there at the front for flat items, like if you're carrying a compass, that would fit in there easy enough. And then in the back here, just have a dressing to pad it out. But you have some soft loop material, an elastic keeper, and then a tie down point at the top. Also, this is padded, so if you wanted to keep sensitive electronic, like a phone or something in there, or laser rangefinder and what have you, that would be a good option to carry it. You should also be able to fit a radio in there if you wanted. That is one downside of this rig. There isn't really any a good place for a radio unless you're going to just jury rig something. And then on this side we have another small utility pocket. Like I said, Johann was carrying bomb bandages in here, so they will take the old school first field dressings but they are too small to take something like a modern Israeli dressing, a 6-inch one anyway. Alright then, so onto the main pockets. In here I have a Pathfinder canteen cook set. So that's the bottle, the cup and the cooker. Underneath that I have a millbank filter and just some hexamine tabs. And then as well as that I have the lid for that. So here we have the South African 2-litre water bottle, and this is what these pouches were designed for. As you'd imagine, they fit in there quite nicely. There's still a bit of space in there, like if you wanted to carry the millbank filter, for example, you could fit that in there, and the hexi tabs. If you wanted to carry purification tablets, again, of course, you've got loads of room in there for that. Depending on what type of emergency rations you're using, you could probably also fit like an MRE or something in there. So if you're going to use these as general purpose utility pouches, I think they're going to work best with stuff sacks. Just because as you take that water bottle out, everything that you have in that pouch is now going to collapse to the bottom. So if you have it in a stuff sack, it will just be quite easy to get that bottle back in, take the stuff sack out, or even just push it up to the side and then put your bottle back in. Otherwise, if you're in the field, you're going to be constantly messing about, moving stuff over to the side, so you can put your water bottle in, and it's just a pain in the backside really. Over here we have a Pathfinder 32 ounce bottle, I think it is, and that will fit in there. I believe these pouches easily take like 2 Nalgene style bottles, and there's a little bit of room left for, say, the millbank filter, puree tabs, hexamine, so on, and maybe an emergency dressing. That's another thing with the back pouch. If you are going to use this, you might want to keep your kit in a stuff sack, so that if you're going to wear this with a pack, you can just quickly take that out, and then the pack will sit over the pouch as it goes flat. That might be an idea. Over here, in this one, I have a pair of binos, some tape, a notebook, a fire starting tin, freeze dry meal, rifle cleaning kit, a toothbrush, which is part of the rifle cleaning kit, batteries, just some crib cards, trail mix, a little wrist compass, and then just some more emergency food, some high energy bars and some jelly beans. Can't go wrong with jelly beans really. So you can carry a ton of kit in these pouches. I think if you're a machine gunner, you could easily carry a couple hundred rounds, even a 7.62 in those pouches. Probably carry easy 3, maybe 400 5.56 link, and maybe 2. I think you definitely carry 200, maybe 300 of 7.62. It's kind of hard to say because I don't actually have the link here, but these pouches are quite big and you could carry quite a bit in them. And so if you had link in there, and then you could have your water bottle and so on in the other side, that should work not too bad. So the rigs are quite nicely padded. You've got a padded section that runs all the way through from one end to the other. Back there you've got the Niemöller label, and then you've got another one on the front there. Also some hook and loop. So the idea there is that that matches up and then stops it from moving or slipping, and then you use the buckle to secure it like normal. All in all, these are pretty cool rigs. I think they've been done really well. It's quite cool that Kommandostore brought them back to life, and it's quite nice that you can get a rig that you can go out and use and not be thrashing a piece of history. So for the pros, I like the simplicity and reliability of the one-piece design with all the pouches stitched on. I also like how low profile their rear pouch is. If you're spending a lot of time on your belt buckle, I think they'd be quite good. It's not going to raise your profile at all. compared to something like a butt pack or a larger pouch. It's quite comfortable with the webbing, with the padding, and the adjustability on the front works really well. As for the downside to these rigs, I think for me personally the dead space on the sides there is kind of annoying. It would have been nice to have a larger pouch, but it's not a big deal. Another thing is that these fixed lock clips work really well on ammo pouches, but not so well on like your smaller utility pouches. It would be nice if there was a bit of adjustability in those. Another thing to be aware of, if you're a taller skinny guy or a bit lanky, at the minute the only sizing runs off the waist. So if you're a bit like me and you're kind of like skinny but a bit taller, then you can't adjust the front of the webbing harness, so this ends up riding on the back of your neck. It depends though how low you want to wear it. I can't really wear this as low as I want, so I kind of have to bring it up a bit, which is not really a bad thing, but is just kind of annoying. It's one of those little things to be aware of. So if you are taller, you might want to give Kommandostore a call and just say, hey, I'm this tall and but I wear this belt size. Will this rig fit me? I probably should have gone up a size, but like I said, I wanted to get the small one. The big question is, of course, are these still relevant? And in my personal opinion, kinda. Kind of depends what you're doing. If you're working in vehicles, they are quite wide at the hips, so yeah, probably not so useful in a vehicle, although they are low profile at the back, so it's quite easy to sit in vehicles. But probably not your best choice. Also, if you're spending a lot of time in cities or urban, CQB or February, that type of stuff. Also, I wouldn't want to be in Ukraine using this for trench clearing. It's not the best option. Having said that though, for what it was designed for, long-range reconnaissance, long-range patrols, working in Africa, open country, that type of thing, I think it would work really well. And I would quite happily take this back to the jungle tomorrow if I was to go back. Something to be aware of is kind of a limited capacity in terms of ammunition, but Johann did design this to be worn with a chest rig. So Johann had like another 3 mags on his chest rig and some ear kit and a few other bits and pieces. Again, if you want to learn more, check out the blog post. I sort of go into things in a bit more detail there. I think this would work really well if you wanted to upscale it with something like a micro rig. That would work quite well. You'd have the shoulder straps to the side and then just the pouch on your chest. Otherwise, you could use like a Tricom type rig or any of those types of chest rigs. The Helicon one, which I did a video on already, that would go really well with this. The Onward Research recce rig would probably work quite well with that as well, so long as you didn't fill up the panels on the side. Loads of options out there really. Yeah, it depends what you're trying to do. But you can easily carry a lot of kit in this and then plus up with mags and frags and so on with a chest rig. So as far as I can tell, these were introduced general issue to the recce's in the early 80s and didn't last too long really. They came up with the Cabbage Patch gear around I want to say like 85, 86. I've got one picture of them of the Cabbage Patch kit being used in 86. And I guess it makes a lot of sense for the bean counters. You know, like Johann said, you know, the generals didn't like the cost of it. For example, say you get a tear in this pouch here. Now you have to replace the whole rig instead of with like the Cabbage Patch kit. You could just swap out that pouch and then that would be a lot cheaper in the grand scheme of things. But you see these things being used all the way through, even well into the 2000s. Thorax did 2 versions of this, one in the S2000 camo pattern and another in the green, and you see the recce's using that kit as well. So it soldiered on for a very long time and was quite popular and for good reason. It's quite decent. I think Kommandostore have done a great job of bringing this back to life, and it's really cool that they were able to work with Johann and also Jaco at North Equipment, and together they've done a pretty decent bit of kit. Alright guys, that concludes today's video. I hope you liked it. I think these are pretty awesome and I'm quite looking forward to being able to thrash it. Please hit the old like and subscribe buttons, it really helps us out. It's quite a niche channel here, and anything that would help grow us is greatly appreciated. And as always, if you can't be safe, be dangerous. Cheers, guys.
And when you walk through that door and you make the decision, you must do it with conviction and that you will survive, and the fight is on. No helicopters coming to pick you up, no rescue team. You are the rescue team.